legends, I hope you're all fantastic. I'm going to be doing a pedalboard build today with this new board that I got from Phatt Music Co. They are a brand new Australian company. They just launched at the Sydney Guitar Show earlier this year. They offer a range of different boards with some very cool modular options. Namely, they have these removable top plates on here where you can set these up to fit one or multiple expression pedals, and also, look at that, hinge them open so you can store your power supply, all your cabling, any extra pedals you want underneath. These are very solidly put together, but they're made of lightweight materials. I love the hardwood sides on here. And I'm super stoked to put together a board around my Fractal AM4. Another awesome thing about Phatt Music Co. is they have a very good virtual pedal builder on their website. So let's do everything on the website and then we'll make it reality. They've also left space on the back so that you can mount any of the Warwick Rockboard modules. I've gone with the Mod 3 on here because I want the XLR outputs. The virtual pedal board builder on their website is exceptionally well laid out. You can select between the 4 different pedal board sizes that they make and then customize them with expression slots. The 2 big boards let you have up to 2 expression slots. The smaller ones have space for a single slot. And again, these are removable and modular. So you could set this up with different pedal boards for different gigs and easily swap these out. I'm going to go with the TS450, the smallest board that they make with a single expression slot. When it comes to adding pedals, there is an extensive list of pedals that you can either browse or search for. There's thousands on here and they are grouped by type. So if you were looking for an overdrive, you could just search overdrives. You can then filter them by brand on here as well. Or of course you can search, let's say I wanted to look at available Boss overdrives and I wanted to select an SD1. I could simply press the plus icon on here. It's on the board now and I can move it around. If I want to delete that, I can do that as well. If I wanted to favorite this and add it to the My Pedals list, I can hit the little love heart. And I've already done this with a bunch of pedals in here, as you can see. So I want to build this board around the Fractal AM4. I'm going to add the AM4 over here. I think the top left will probably be the place to go over there. And then I normally use a Fractal EV2 expression pedal live. So I'm going to add that to the board as well. I can then drag that into the expression slot. You can see that that fits really nicely. Now, I did think about building this board around the AM4 and the VP4. As you can see, if I wanted to add the VP4, this would fit in perfectly here. This would be a super powerful and compact rig with the advantage that I could pull the AM4 off the board and stick it into my guitar bag for gigs where I just need a smaller rig. However, I think it would be nice to have a couple of non-fractal effect flavors in here. So what I'm going to go for is I would love to have some kind of POG octave style effect in here. I did think about adding the POG on here. It's one of my favorite pedals of all time. It's just a little bit chunky, especially if I wanted to sit it up here. So a great alternative to that is the MXR Poly Blue. Let's move this one down here. I'll kind of move the little jack in line with this slot over here. I think it would be really cool to have an analog fuzz on here as well, or some kind of boost. I'm going to go with the Crazy Tube Circuits Triptychon, which has just come out. It's actually one of the few pedals that isn't on here, but the Superconductor by Crazy Tube Circuits I know is the same size. So I'll put that one over there. I do have a mini MIDI controller that I use with the AM4 for tap tempo and the tuner. I'm going to use this little hot tone Ampero switch as a fill-in for that over there. It's the same size. It's actually also a hot tone pedal as well. Then I thought it might be cool in the effects loop of the AM4 to have some kind of pitch detune. I thought about adding the Eventide H90. I might be able to cram the H90 underneath this slot on here, but if I'm just going to use it for an always-on doubler, I'm going to go with the KMA Geminis. I guess if I wanted to, I could move the AM4 over a little bit and stick the Geminis over here. It should just fit, but this is an always-on pedal for me, so I'm actually going to rotate it and stick it over here. Will it fit? Look at that. I could move the AM4 over. This is such a handy little tool for planning all of this out. In fact, I reckon I could probably fit the KMA under here, so I could hit the open panel tab over there. Look at that. Let's add it on there. Let's do the same thing and rotate it and see if it will fit. This is going to save me so much time when I actually get the board. Ooh, I reckon that will go in. So I could leave the Geminis underneath the board on there and just have some blank space here, or maybe put my wireless over here, or just, again, leave it blank so it's nice and minimal on there. That's very, very cool. What I like about this is I can save this board. I can set up a shopping list for pedals that I wanted to add to it. So if there were pedals that I didn't own on here that I wanted to go out and buy, I could do that. And I can also download and export this image as a PDF. They've also got a 3D isometric view over here of the board, and you can do cool things like rescale it, move it around, and zoom in. This is a really, really lovely tool. Let's see how this actually works out in the real world. And from concept to reality, here is the finished board. Everything fits perfectly, exactly the way the virtual pedalboard builder indicated it would. I've got the Geminis sitting up here. This would probably be an always on effect for me. I go back and forth with this one where I absolutely love the doubling effect and the over the top detune tone live, and other times where I want to use it for something far more subtle. But either way, it does a fantastic job. The expression pedal is sitting really nicely on here. I could probably fit another pedal in here, to be honest, if I wanted a modulation pedal or something like that. For example, the Past Effects Elastic Mattress is one that comes to mind. I love the way that sounds, and that would give me a pre-gain modulation option in there. But for now, we'll just roll with what we planned on the pedalboard planner. The Triptychon really is 3 drives in one. I can use it in a variety of different ways. I really like it for the Octavia effect and for the fuzz face, but we will hear a couple of other options on there. And there's the little hot tone pulse control over there. This will let me tap in the tempo with this foot switch over here and engage the tuner. What I want to do on here is just show you what I've got going on underneath this main panel. And here's the secret to all the great tones. It's having all the feline fuzz. Are you enjoying this? Do you want to be part of the video? Say hi to everybody, Nagini. See, these are the people that keep you fed, keep you sheltered, all the wonderful people who support me over at Patreon or who go and grab the blocks library or the music. Absolutely shameless plug right there. So now the cat's gone, you can see what I've got under here. This is a Palmer pedal supply, and a big shout out to my buddy Paul Bradshaw for getting me onto this one. I already owned this power supply, but it has a very cool 2 amp 9 volt outlet on here that is enough to power the AM4. I was going to go and buy a Chox power supply and one of their Crux add-ons to do that, but I've been able to power all the pedals on here. There's actually loads of slots on this one if I wanted to expand this, including 18 volt slots. So I could add something like the Elastic Mattress, which needs 18 volts of power. It's had to fit in here a little awkwardly. It does fit in nicely on that kind of diagonal right there. You can see I'm going from the balanced outputs of the AM4 to these XLR throughputs on here. That is very handy, just having those cables in there. This is my main guitar cable that I'm going to plug into on the other side of the rock board that goes to the Poly Blue Octave. So these are connected in front of the AM4. The Geminis is in a loop of the AM4. I like that if I wanted to have a setup where I don't have the expression pedal, I could simply detach this, add one of their full size risers on here and go to town like that. I could probably fit the pedal power supply in there a little easier, but for me, I really love having a wah live. And if I'm not using a wah, I do like using it as a volume pedal or to control delay and reverb mix. So that's what's going on under there. I guess if I had a smaller power supply, I might be able to fit something like the Geminis into this little space in here. Or if I wasn't using this rock board, let's say I wanted to have like an H90 under there just for a few effects and have it all midied up as a kind of secret add-on over there. So really easy to set up. And I have to say that these panels are in really convenient places. I like that I'm able to get all of my cables underneath the board on here, have it super neat and tidy. And all I need to do now is actually go through and commit to all of this, add some cable ties, add some dual lock in there, and I've got a gig ready pedal board that gives me all my favorite fractal flavors, as well as the ability to just swap pedals in and out as I like on here. So let's hear this thing. tone is pretty outrageous, but I'm just using those other pedals to take it right over the top. For character parts, I might use the poly blue for a riff here and there. I might use the Octavia style effect on the Triptychon for a lo-fi part of a song. Similarly, I might use the fuzz face or the tone bender mode on the Triptychon just to absolutely obliterate a riff for, say, an outro or a last chorus. This all works really nicely as well if you have a much sweeter, cleaner tone to start with. A massive thank you to Phatt Music Co. for sending me this board so I could make today's video. I would highly encourage you to go and check out their range of products on their website and to play around with the virtual pedalboard builder that they've got. It is so well resourced and such a handy utility. I'd love to hear from you. What would you put together on one of these boards? Would you go with the expression slots? Would you just stack it up with a bunch of pedals? Would you put a switching system on there, or would you run it with a modeler? Let me know in the comment section below, and support some great Australian-made gear. Makes me so happy to see. And as always, if you like what I'm doing on the channel and you want to keep the lights on and keep my cats fed, check out the Patreon, the music that I make with my band Ragdoll, and my blocks libraries. They are linked in the video description. Now grab your guitars, make some gloriously loud guitar noises, and I'll see you on the next one.